something here.
But Evan, this is what you misunderstand.
No, but this is
Evan, what you misunderstand, mate, like what a lot of people in your line of work misunderstand is that we don't want pedagogic figures coming in and didactically shouting at us. We want to organise ourselves, as is happening on the New Era estate. The time where people trust politicians, that's over. That era has passed. Now, I'm not suggesting they.
Do you think people really want to organize themselves? Or do you think they'd rather daddy government dictate?
Yes.
I think there's this weird thing that people do in these activist communities is it's like there's a noble victim. They make the victim noble as if the victim isn't at all involved in their own oppression and that they don't have any sort of agency in what's taking place towards them, like what's happening to them. You get what I'm saying? And it's like the victim, it's because the talking heads and these pedagogic figures that are speaking to them and distracting. It's like, but people have shown that they love distraction. They prefer to be lied to, that they don't enjoy hearing the truth if it doesn't align with their wants, needs, and desires. Like, I think it sounds good to say that, yeah, people just want the freedom to organize themselves. But the truth is, I do not believe that. The older I've gotten, it's like, no, I don't think people want that. I think the average person just wants to be spoon-fed information and told. They just want to know what to believe.
Yes.
They're just looking like, hey, okay, which one? What should I believe?
Yeah.
Look at the popularity of high fashion. It's like 90% of people purchasing high fashion have absolutely no idea why it's valued. They only like it because it's a signal of wealth. It's an easy signal. They like a person buying a Louis Vuitton bag isn't buying it because of the craftsmanship. They're buying it because they know, hey, this is a signal. This is what wealthy people wear. This is how I signal status. So it's like, that's what the average person wants. They just want they want signal. Like, what do I do? That's what it is. I don't believe in any way that people want to organize themselves. Like, when I was younger, I might have believed that.
Yeah.
The older I've gotten, it's like, no, people do not want that. That is the last thing. I'd say there's about 20% of people who may want to organize themselves and build their own communities. And if you give them the resources, they'd be like, hell yeah, we're pioneers. We're ready to get it rolling. 80% are like, no.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to push a button. Look at Amazon. Amazon will tell you the success of Amazon should be an indicator that people just want ease and comfort.
Yeah.
At the cost of anything. Like, people will literally give up their entire life in terms of, self-sovereignty and autonomy for some convenience. Let's be real. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I agree with.
Start trusting me, an entertainer. I'm a comedian who looks like Jesus. That's a much closer description. But I can participate by amplifying what may seem like piecemeal causes to you. But let me tell you, to the people on the New Era house. No, let me finish, mate. Let me finish. To the people on the New Era estate who are losing their homes. So the brother of the richest Tory MP in this country, Richard Benyon, Edward Benyon.
Well, we don't know. He's not here to justify himself. So
thank God, mate, because otherwise I wouldn't be. Because let me tell you, they've got enough of a voice. The BBC gives enough of a voice to conventional wisdom. I'm here to give a voice to ordinary people like that, and their struggle. Let me tell you, Evan, it don't seem piecemeal to them because they're being faced with losing their homes. So men like Edward Benyon can make yet more profit. To them, it's not piecemeal. That's how the BBC missed the mark.
Another thing I wanted to bring up was look at Edward Snowden. The guy revealed that the government has been violating our rights and just, snooping on our data and just doing all types of fucked up shit. The man can't even come back to his country. Like he's the average person gives absolutely no fucks.
Right.
The man risked his life and put out information and he's realistically speaking courageous. Like he's a patriot. Mm-hmm. He put out information showing that our government was abusing us. What do you think the average person has any idea who Edward Snowden is in terms of why he's important?
Well, they did make a movie about
in terms of let's be real. Like if you ask like 10 people on the street, hey, do you know who Edward Snowden is and why he's important?
I think they'd recognize the name. I don't think they'd know the why.
Exactly. You
Or
know.
the context behind what was happening. They'd be like, oh yeah, I heard of that guy.
Yeah, and of
then,
course,
like,
yeah.
oh, what do you know about him? Like,
I don't know. And of course, it's, you know, that's on the media. The media obviously is not going to report on him because they have higher ups. You know, they have people who they have to make sure are happy. Which would go into the argument that's why the people are uninformed, is because the media apparatus is there to keep them distracted, keep them, hey, look at sports ball, go watch this, go shoot a touchdown or something, like kick a free throw or something. And people are distracted constantly, man.
sports ball.
You don't know what ordinary people care about. People are losing their jobs, they're losing their services, they're losing their homes, and we're tired, and there's no one to represent us, mate. There's no one to represent us. That's the kind of thing you should be covering on your show.
Can I?
What the interviewer does seem a bit weird that he's so dismissive of it. He's like, I don't even want to talk about this.
The truth to do that.
We go
news,
through some
news you can trust.
Can we look at specifics?
Because sometimes,
sometimes,
tell me what you want to know.
I think sometimes you can make generalities, right? And they don't. That you can get away with a lot.
I think
let's
that's
talk about
beings.
specifics.
That in itself was a generality.
Let's look at this one.
Or a
in the book, you
generalisation.
say in the book, let's kill General Motors. Let's take it back from its shareholders, scribble out the name and the logo, and let's use its resources for something more valuable.
Now, Evan, I hope you're not going to use this opportunity for
I'm
you,
just gonna ask
an
you-
Oxford-educated economist, to come on the TV and be rude to me.
I'm not being rude. I want
An
I'm just-
autodidact, a self-educated man,
yeah.
for simply trying to suggest that there might be an alternative to corporate
I'll tell you why I
hegemony.
want to
That there
raise
might
this.
be an alternative.
What's your opinion about corporate hegemony?
What's your opinion of corporate hedge?
Corporations controlling everything and having just absolute power. And
What is your opinion on that?
my opinion on it is obviously it's not good for society. It's very clearly not good for society. You know,
just raise
to our
this.
governments bending over for the benefit of big corporations.
I want
Let
to
me tell
raise
you,
this
that's what
because-
ordinary people care about, mate. It's
Because-
affecting ordinary people's lives. I don't know if it's affecting
No,
the
no,
places
come on,
you
come on,
hang
come
out
on,
and
let
where
me
you
speak,
drink.
let me speak.
Tell me what you need to know.
Yeah, there may be. I mean, you're very good in this book,
Thanks.
and you're going to get a lot of praise for the way you
I don't
document.
want praise, I want change.
You're going to get a
I
lot
want
of praise
change, great,
for
but I want
identifying
change.
a lot that people don't like about society at the moment. It's very easy to spot things that are wrong with society at the moment, right?
Absolutely.
Easy. We
Yes,
have
of
the
course it
bejeweled
is.
bus you talk about. 85 people
Yes,
in the world
massive
who have as much
inequality.
as 55 billion.
What's
Let
your
me
point,
finish.
Evan? What's your
My
point, mate?
is,
Come on.
You
Sharpen up your big shoes.
You propose another system, and it might be that your system is better,
Yes.
or it might be that you haven't had the imagination to think about the problems that the other system has. So I'm trying to get into a detail here,
What,
which
you
you
think
want
I
to
lack
take.
imagination? That's your accusation. What's the problem with
I
my
want to take an
imagination?
example of something you
Take
say.
the example. Let's
Take
take the
General
example.
Motors from its shareholders.
Absolutely.
Do you know who owns it? The United Auto Workers Union owns a chunk of it. The Canadian government owns a chunk of it. You take it from them, and they're
Evan, are you seriously telling me that the corporate world, companies like Monsanto and Pfizer, are operating on behalf of us, ordinary people? Is that your argument? Are you coming on Newsnight, a great British institution, to say that corporations like Vodafone, Amazon,
Sometimes,
Google, who
yes.
don't pay their tax in this country,
Sometimes, yes.
who are aided and
Sometimes, no.
assisted by our government, while people fill the squares arrested for possessing tarpaulin so they can peacefully protest, you want to say that corporates are getting a rough ride?
I don't say they're getting a rough
mate,
ride.
Look,
I
you've
want
got a
to
proper
ask-
job.
I want to ask you.
Now, why don't you
what
answer some
propose-
questions?
You say you want General Motors to stop making cars that break down in a few years,
Mate, you carry like
so
look,
they can sell more of them. Well, do you
Yeah.
really believe that cars are made to break down?
what built-in obsolescence? Yeah, I believe in built-in obsolescence, don't you?
Well,
You don't
I
believe
tell you
that-
what.
Built-in obsolescence is like the baseline
Yeah.
of every product after
Yeah.
like the 1980s or something. Like,
yeah, that's just
the phrase "they don't build them like they used to." That's
real. That's
that's what that is.
Yeah.
When
You don't
when I
believe
was
in a
kid,
capitalist
when I was
system
a kid,
that people make deliberately
Well, it's funny you should
Any
say,
one
when
of
I was
us-
a kid, we went on holiday. We could barely guarantee to get
You're
back
much
again.
more tactile than the
'cause
Jeremy geezer. He hated it when I touched his leg.
He does a lot of.
You're much more
non-consensual-
tactile than a Jeremy Geese.
He does a lot of unconsensual
Touching?
touching.
Yeah.
Because the cars were so unreliable, they've become much more reliable. And I sort of think the companies that made obsolete cars went out of business.
You think that, do you?
Well,
you honestly think that?
Let me bring up a graph.
I don't want to look at a graph,
No, look,
mate.
let's
I
pick
ain't
a
got
graph.
time for a bloody graph. Well, this is what I want to take this opportunity to talk to the people of this country
just
and tell them to
look
get
at this
involved
graph.
in
This is
creative
quite
direct action.
interesting, 'cause this
That's
is-
a lot.
It's a beautiful graphic, right?
Say, I don't want to look at a graph.
Lovely graph.
It goes back
well
to
done, mate.
1862.
This is the kind of stuff that people like you
No, it's
use
not.
to confuse people like us.
trying to
What is
push that button.
what is your point?
My point is that revolutions sometimes have good effects, but they also wipe out more than they intended.
Thank you. You could have said that in 5 seconds without the daft graph.
Well, I think
What do you think about this interview?
Brian, I think what is the host's name? Whoever he is, I think he was out of his league.
Yeah, he was unable.
He got steamrolled.
He was unable to conduct it the way he wanted to.
He had there was no controlling Brand. Yeah.
Overall, do you agree with what he was saying? What do you feel?
Well, he said. I mean, I agree with not trusting the government. And a lot. I do believe that I agree with what you said earlier. There is a lot of distraction. I think that a lot of that is purposeful. So in that regard, no. I mean, I agree with what he said. You just, what can you trust? Everything is being spoon fed to you. And then, what isn't being spoon fed to you, you're being told to look the other way. So on those points, I do agree with him.
Yeah.
And what about you?
Yeah, I agree with some of his points. I do think he's a bit more optimistic than I am, and placing a lot of faith in the people. I don't really believe that the people are, innocent in all this. I think people are largely quite willing to be distracted and quite willing to be controlled and quite willing to not want to make the investment to improve themselves and their condition. They're more comfortable just going along with the way things are, and we see it. Look, let's be honest. Everyone owns a smartphone, at least in, not civilized, but the first world countries, right? Most people own smartphones. And what are people doing on these smartphones? Are they going and we have the access to the world's knowledge, but are people learning all this stuff? Are people seeking out this information, or are they content on like 3 different websites having to bickering with each other and having meaningless discussions about nothing? So we can say, oh, the system's distracting us, or we can say that people are just prone to distraction because it's more comfortable.
It's more comfortable.
So it's like, I think the bulk of the problem is the people. The bulk of the problem is the people, because look at every situation when you put the power in the hands of the people, they always choose the wrong shit. You can get access to a proper nutrition and, healthy foods, but are people choosing those healthy foods, or are they continuing to choose the things that are bad for them? Right? And then the argument is that, they're putting too much sugar and it's like the foods are super addictive. And it's like, yeah, but again, they have a choice. People have a choice. Oh yeah,
but it's cheaper.
Yeah, it's like, it's cheaper. That's nonsense. Like a bag of rice, potatoes, and then it's like, but we don't know how to cook. And it's like, there's always an excuse. People are just horrible at being responsible. They want control. They want to be controlled, and they don't even know it. They're prone to distraction. Anyways, that's the video, guys.
Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Let us know what you guys think. So see you guys next time. Peace.